Let's begin this exercise by drilling down on shared folders. Within shared folders, we will be focusing on LACs, that is level-aware calculations, and I'll open the level-aware exercise starter analysis. Within the analysis, I'm going to be focusing on the percent of total tab. The visualization that currently is displaying on the screen is tied to our world in data, which is a data set with demographic information and other information about countries around the world. Our current focus is on population. So note that we have population at the region level, like for Asia, and drilling down to the country level, like for India, the world's currently most populated country with over 1.4 billion people. If I click on the parameters icon in the toolbar, I'll notice 3 different parameters. The one that I'm interested in looking at for this exercise is the geo level param. You'll note that that parameter has an associated control called geo level control. And there's 2 options. There's the region and the world option. If I click on these right now, nothing's actually going to change in my visualization because I have not tied this geo level control to the visualization in any way. And I'm going to do that now by adding a calculated field. I'm going to create a calculated field called pop total with an if-else statement that takes the parameter and compares that to a value. So notice the geo level param equals world, and if that is true, then I'm going to return sumOver, sum population, and I have blank brackets here. Now, if we look within functions for sumOver, we will see that a sumOver calculates the sum of the measure partitioned by specific attributes at specific level, at specified level. So in our case, we're looking at sum population, that's our measure. And interestingly, this open and close bracket is simply saying we don't have any partitions. Therefore, we're simply considering the entire data set. And this is why we have this set to world. We also have an option where the geo level param is set to region. In that case, notice that the sumOver sum population has region specified. So therefore, we would be looking at populations at the region level. An if-else statement requires an else. In our case, the else is simply set once again to the entire data set, hence the open and close brackets. If I delete the else and attempt to click on save, you're going to notice that the calculation fails. It's simply incorrect. Again, the else is required. Now I'll click on save, and the calculation works and does not fail with any syntax errors. I'll create another calculated field, and this calculation will be called pop percent. The pop percent will be the sum of the population divided by the pop total. Now, the pop total was the calculated field that we just created, so we are nesting a calculated field. The sum population will return the population value at whatever level is being defined within our visualization. Within the pivot table that we have in our visualization, that could be at the region level or that could be at the country level. I'll click on save. And now let's interact with the data pane and note our 2 calculated fields, pop percent and pop total. I'll select the pivot table and then click on pop total and pop percent to automatically place these on the values well. I would like the pop percent to display as a percent. To do that, I'm going to interact with the kebab menu associated with pop%. I can get that to display by hovering over the right-hand side of pop%, clicking on the three vertical dots, otherwise known as a kebab menu, and select Show As, %, and I'm also going to select Format, and under Format, I can choose between some basic options or I can choose more formatting options. If I choose more formatting options, that brings up a Format Data panel, and in this panel, I'm going to set decimal places to Custom 3. And notice that pop% now has 3 decimal places. There's no need for me to click an Apply button. I can simply click the back button on Format Data to get back to the Visuals panel. Next, I'll show you an alternative way to get the percentage of population by dragging another instance of population onto the values well, and then clicking on the kebab menu associated with that second instance of population, and choosing the option called Add Table Calculation, % of total. The initial value I get is not very helpful. It's just 100%. So I'll also need to click on that kebab menu and select Calculate As Table Down. Note now that the values are the same between our pop% and our population table calculation. India showing approximately 17.78% of the world's population. If this handy table calculation is possible simply by interacting with the interface and not actually writing any code, why should I go through the work of creating a calculated field? And the answer is this: table calculations are only possible for pivot tables. In QuickSight, we have many visualization possibilities, and of all these visualization possibilities, only pivot tables support table calculations. So if I want to achieve a pop% on another visualization type, then I'm going to have to use LACs, that is, level aware calculations.